Hey guys, it's Nate with Zbroz, and we are going to install a tie rod kit on a Can-Am Maverick X3. And the installation process is quite simple. It's the same on the 64 and the 72-inch tie rod kits that we offer. We're simply replacing the rod itself. So let's open up one of these, check it out. And on those applications like the XP1000,
we supply a divider that's cut down.
Billet nut. Another Honda Talon. This happens to be a 1000R. Stock tie rods are built out of tube and a little bit flimsy. So going to a fully billet tie rod. And we're just going to replace the center section. So you're going to need a couple of hand tools, a crescent wrench, and some 18mm wrench and socket, because we're going to need to undo this end. I'm not exactly sure why Can-Am did it this way, but it's the same thread on both ends, so you can't just loosen the jam nuts and rotate the rod. It's right hand and right hand thread, so it's kind of opposite of what would be considered normal, but for that purpose you have to undo it from out here. So we're going to break this jam nut loose so that we can undo this and slide it out, and then we'll pull the rod end out of this end, and then we'll just use a crescent wrench to back this off of that jam nut and then thread it all the way off, and then we'll just spin the new one on and set it back up to exactly the same length. And of course, alignment will have to be done on the ground with the tires on. We're going to try to keep it as close to the factory one as possible, and as you see when we take it off, it's the same length. So if you can keep that the same and you're happy with where it was, you shouldn't have to do a full realignment, but it's pretty easy to do. It just adds a little bit of extra time to your process. Okay, so step one, remove your little cotter pin that's down in here. It's pretty thin, so you can use some, those pliers if you need them, but pop this out. Need a pair of pliers out of my... Hang on to that, because you're going to want to put that back in. Undo your 18mm in here. And we're just going to use a crescent wrench to break this one loose. Okay, so now the jam nut's loose, and we're going to want to leave it in the same spot because we're going to try to maintain that alignment. Pull this out here. Now we can spin this one out. Again, we're just going to try to leave that nut right where it was. Okay, and then there's a little flat on these rods, so you can use just a crescent wrench to twist this, and then we'll get a wrench up here on this end to hold this end. So we're going to go ahead and turn the steering all the way to the left so that we can get to that jam nut a little bit easier. So we'll do that first. It's 22mm or 7/8 wrench to break this jam nut loose. So if you look here, like we were saying, we're trying to leave our jam nuts in the same spot because the stock one is the same length. So it'll give you a really good close alignment if you're able to not move those jam nuts. Okay, and then spin this one back in. Right hand thread on both ends. Again, Can-Am. I don't know why you do that. Guess it can't ever come loose that way. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. Because making a toe adjustment sucks on these.
You turn the wheel to the right again?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been easier, but I got it. Okay, and then you're going to tighten your bolt back up to your factory torque spec. and put your cotter pin back in. Now I'd recommend maybe not putting your cotter pin in right away, because then you can put the car on the ground and make sure that your toe is where you want it, and then put your cotter pin back in. So there you have it. That's a pretty easy install, an easy way to get a lot stronger tie rod for your Can-Am Maverick X3. So if you have questions, reach out to a Zbroz Racing dealer near you, or you can always reach us at zbrozracing.com.